Time now for Mr. Mars' new feature called Driving Destinations. And today, Twisted Sisters. You ever heard of that? I have.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of the great drives. Now, we're talking about family things, so we got to get a lot of family stuff in here. So when you go out in that part of the Texas Hill Country, there's some things that the family can do. There's Garner State Park. Now, this is in Concan. In the Hill Country, 1,700 acres, 2.9 miles of Frio River that you can float on and fish and do all kinds of water
when
things.
There's water in it.
Can you float and fish at the same time?
Yeah, if you can. 16 miles of trails, and including a 500-foot ascent. So there's lots to do there. Or you can go over to the Hill Country State Natural Area, and you can do 40 miles of trails for hiking, biking, horseback riding. And you can bring your own horses. You can rent horses. Got lots of things for the family to do in that area. Then you've got the Cave with No Name. Now, this is near Boerne, or if you're north.
Is that any relationship to a horse with no name?
It is.
Yeah.
If you're north of Waco, it's actually, you look on the map for Boerne, but everybody else will know it's Boerne. It's a limestone cave. And it was given the name back in the 20s, when it was open to the public in 1939. It was considered too beautiful to have a name, so they did not give it a name. So it's all kinds of little family things to do there, but if you need to make a run to the grocery store while the family's busy doing things and you want to make a little 100-mile round trip of the Twisted Sisters, now this is a loop through the hill country that goes around, beginning in Medina, goes up through Leakey, goes through lots of things.
That's an interesting look there.
Am I jump ahead?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Whatever. Continue on, please.
So if you get up there, there's one stretch of this 100-mile loop, a 15-mile stretch. It's got 65 curves in it. Now, a lot of this is motorcycles on the weekend, so if you're going in the car, in the family car, and you want to make this run, you kind of better during the week. But you got to be careful. It's got drop-offs. There's limited guardrails. There's deer come across. There's livestock. There's lots of things that kind of wander out onto this roadway that you're going to be flying around and having lots of fun as a driving experience after you've been out with the family for a few hours and days. Go out to the Twisted Sisters. Are we hung up? Yeah.
No, that's the next shot.
Oh. Roll on, Jeff.
Okay.
I thought you was going to let it roll. Either way. So that's the Hill Country Natural State Area. Just let it roll on.
Okay, gotcha.
Whose house is that?
That's a cabin that you can rent out there if you don't want to live in a tent.
Airbnb.
Were you going to tell us about that or no?
No, I think
I was trying to watch the clock. This is the Cave with No Name.
Why? You never do anyway.
I'm trying to get better.
Okay.
So this is actually the Twisted Sisters portion that goes around there, and that's part of what it looks like if you can imagine going down through there at about 140.
Oh, yeah, baby. Look at that. It's beautiful.
No, I'm not doing
beautiful.
140 on that.
It's a beautiful area. Well, that's why you don't want to go on the weekend when the motorcycles are out there.
Well, they're going fast probably, but not at 140. There's the Lone Star Motorcycle Museum.
There you go. 14
and
kilometers.
Yeah, well, that's good. There's a great picture to have in there.
Yeah. So that you know that it can be dangerous. It's kind of like that race over in England on that Isle of Man. Yeah. That's
Isle of Man.
I'd love to go see that. I don't think I would ever have the guts to be in it, but I would love to go see it.
Well, I've been posting things about mainly in the old country, Great Britain, where they have buggies and old little cars that the kids drive.
Makes you homesick?
No. Where they start up at the top of the hill and grown men try to ride the car all the way down there without being thrown off. And that never works, but it's absolutely hysterical. Yes, I'll have to share those with you next time I run across one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I post them on my Facebook page, so people know.
There you go.
Show now, Jeff's car culture and racing superstitions from red underwear to baloney.
That's full of baloney. But confidence is essential to succeed in motor racing, whether it's on 2 wheels or 4 wheels. Even people who claim they don't really believe in superstitions have admitted that certain pre-race rituals can calm the jitters. Now, our first one here is Talladega. How about that? Rumored to be built on a Native American burial ground, which isn't really true, the track nevertheless has a spooky aura. It's the largest, fastest superspeedway of NASCAR's calendar, and consequently the site of some horrific crashes. It was on the track in 1970 when Bobby Isaac, one of the most haunted NASCAR drivers ever, stopped in the middle of a 1973 race, got out of his car, and quit. Why? A voice told him to do that. Earlier in the race, a rookie, Larry Smith, had died of a massive head injury in a solo crash, but it was not reported that the individual died. So he was told that and quit the race just by parking his car. So that's one of the superstitions. The next one we have is the color green. Some are pretty solid colors based on green can become unlucky early on. Arguably, the first occurrence in 1911 when the driver, Lee Oldfield, no relation to Barney, crashed in the stands at Syracuse, New York, killing 11 spectators in the green car. Oldfield was thrown clear and went on to design the first rear-engine cars for the Indianapolis 500. Another year, the death of Gadsden Chevrolet, yes, the family of Chevrolets, killed on a boardwalk in Beverly Hills, California in 1920 in a green car. So that's part of the mystique of being unlucky. The next one is eating specific foods. Eating the same thing before every race isn't unusual. The two-time Daytona winner, Sterling Marlin, ate a bologna sandwich before each of the races that he won. Some late model racers, and for some reason it's only late model racers, have a thing about chicken bones around a race car. Sometimes it's what you don't eat is the important. Legendary sprint car racer Galen Fox and his son ate McDonald's right before a race. They went out and tore up all their equipment and lost. Never eating at McDonald's before a race again. The next one is a lucky helmet. Every driver who has won a race has a lucky helmet. The one when they won the race is the best. The best known example is Alberto Ascari, a two-time world champion.
Hey, yo.
Hey, forget about it. With his favorite blue helmet, which wouldn't allow anybody else to touch it or handle the helmet. And he made an exception after his crash in Monaco in 1955 when the helmet was damaged. He had it repaired and had it repainted blue and decided that he's going to use it. Well, in the time that the helmet was in the shop, he went to Monza and was killed. He was in a test crash and was wearing his friend's white helmet. So that's an unlucky thing there. And lastly, the number 13. We know these. The number 13 is considered unlucky practically everywhere, but the superstition has some interesting consequences in the world of racing. NASCAR numbers, they pit so that no crew member or no crew or race team gets stuck working in the number 13 spot. Championship driver Joe Weatherly once qualified 13th for a race, but NASCAR allowed him to use the starting position of 12A instead of the 13. And Formula F1 driver Michael Schumacher established a presence for odd numbers, but 13 wasn't among them.
Weird.
Yeah. How about that?
That's a great story there.
Unlucky numbers.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Time now. Today's average marketed price of a vehicle, average, as of yesterday, $50,157.
Oh, man.
$50,000 for average price of a car. So now, with that in mind, here's a review of the 2025 Buick Envista.
Can't wait.
It is built in the final assembly location at Byupyong, Korea. This is a Korean vehicle, believe it or not. Available trim levels, Preferred, Sport Touring, and Avenir. I got to drive the Avenir, top of the line. This is a small, what they consider a small station wagon. We'd like to consider it more of a SUV, but they still have a station wagon designation for whatever reason. I don't get all that.
That's your government.
I guess so. Seats 5. It's a small SUV. All new for 2023. Ours was a 25 model. Simple shark nose front fascia is sleek, modern, and yet aggressive looking. Fastback rear hatch adds to its wind-cheating look. Sculpted sides with a sharp lower body crease draws your eyes down there to the big 19-inch Avenir wheels. What I liked about it? Everything. Sporty, high zoot looks. What could use improvement? Beats me. I don't know. I love this thing. Interior highlights: 2 displays in one attractive, well-vetted display draws your eye to that on the top of the dash. HVAC controls and center vent below the touch screen. Nice little touch there. Comfortable seating made with upscale materials. Yes, believe it or not, leg room for back seat passengers. Cargo room is small with the rear seat up. Obviously, with the rear seat down, plenty of room for most people. What I liked about it, the overall high marks for use of such a small space. What could use improvement? Anything that raises the price is an absolute no-no, and I'll tell you about that coming up here in just a second. The engine, questionable. 1.2-liter itty-bitty, teeny-weeny, turbocharged 3-cylinder. Horsepower, 137 whopping horsepower with 162 pound-feet of torque through a 6-speed automatic transmission. It's front-wheel drive only. Miles per gallon. Score some points here. 28 miles per gallon in the city. Highway of 32 for a combined of 30. I got 30.7 over 320.4 miles. What I liked about it? Fuel economy. What could use improvement? At times, the engine and transmission don't like to dance together nicely. And I say that because if you're trying to squirt across an intersection or, like a two-way boulevard and you've got to get to the middle, it could take a second or two, depending how quick you are from the brake to the accelerator pedal. And if there's any movement in the car, it doesn't quite understand it. If you start from a dead stop, not a problem. But you know how you kind of creep just a little bit? Don't do that.
No creeping.
No creeping. And you know all about creeping.
You get in trouble with that.
A white van.
But other than that, I am an aggressive 2-foot driver in an automatic transmission, and I will readily admit to that. So part of the problem there is me. Well, most of the problem is me. Ride and handling, sporty. What could use any improvement? Well, a little more Buick compliance would be okay with me because it's sporty. It's got a sporty ride to it. And, being old school that I am, I'm used to a more compliant ride. But it's not. It's a today's style ride. Base trim price, $28,600. Let me repeat that. Base trim price, that's the Avenir, $28,600. Price is tested $30,690. Remember I told you what today's average price of a vehicle is, $50,000? If you want to get into one of these, the base model price, drum roll, $22,900.
Howdy doody.
Yeah. They've hit the sweet spot as far as
Buick,
I'm concerned. And I think that this would be a great ride for a newer family. Just got married, got a baby perhaps, and you need a little bit more room. This is something you definitely want to consider. Now, its cousin is the Chevy Trax.
Yeah.
Okay?
Which I think is bigger.
And it starts at $20,500.
I like the little tracks. I don't think it's got as much
flair
as the Buick by any means.
I agree.
But,
Well, Chevy branded, yeah. They're a little bit.
It's the same vehicle, basically, just a little bit different body
Cool.
style. So that's $20,500. Mazda CX-30 is a competitor. It starts at $24,995. And the VW Taos is also a competitor, and it's the same starting price as the Mazda CX-30 at $24,995.
Taos, I saw one the other day. That's a pretty good-looking little vehicle.
It is. It's a Volkswagen.
Yeah.
But you know what? If I had my choice, I'd buy that Buick.
Yeah, I would too.
Particularly for that price.
And that review is so good. Can you do it again? Because
Yeah. Wait till we get to your car.
Oh,
I think I've already reviewed
we're
your
going to
car.
need a 4-hour show for that.
Yeah. I really think that it's worth considering if you're looking for a small SUV. It's screwed together really well.
The SUV moniker doesn't do any. Mine is more of an SUV because I've got the Envision, which is the step. It's the second. Yeah, it's a step up.
Yeah,
from
so it's a little bit bigger than this one.
Right.
The Envista.
Yeah, this would be more like maybe a hatchback size.
Yeah.
Well, and
I
it's
would
got
agree
that
with that.
fastback rear hatch.
Yeah.
And I guess that's why they come up with the station wagon designation for it. I'm going, a station wagon?
No.
I don't believe I've driven a station wagon in a long time until this. This is called a station wagon.
I know, but
I'd
that's what
agree
I'm
with
saying.
you.
So you're trying to convince somebody like my wife that this would be a car you'd want to drive. And the station wagon, it's gone.
Yeah.
But it's a hot hatchback. Well, now maybe.
It's like the old Mazda 3,
SUV?
the wagon Mazda 3 hatchback. Yeah.
Do they make any hot hatches anymore?
Nah, I think the Volkswagen Golf is about gone. I think it was about the last one, I think.
Well, that's now the GTI.
Yeah.
Maybe they're trying to
GTI,
rename
you're
it.
right.
And the only thing with the GTI is that they're not making a manual transmission in that anymore. You have to buy the automatic.
And I noticed on the pictures that you're showing, it had the shifter on the console between the seats, whereas mine is up on the stick, the push button up on the stick, which is a big difference.
So you have a stick.
It's on the turn signal area. Well, it's the shifter.
Right.
It's like a 3 on the tree.
Right. Yeah. You still got
That great big huge Suburban that I've got out there that's the size of a football field.
Yeah.
That thing is so big, I can't believe it. But it's got the same kind of shifter that you're referring to.
Well, Cadillac has that too. Well,
And
Cadillac had the thing before where you had
fine.
on the ball on the.
You know, my idea of the shifter, unless it's a real sports car, you don't need the paddle shifters in it.
No.
Although the Suburban's got paddle shifters in it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Mine does too. And
Is it four-wheel drive?
That one? I don't recall. Probably. It's the high country, so it's loaded up with everything.
I bet you that's why.
You got the paddle shifters, plus and minus, and then underneath that, on the left side, is the radio changing channel, and then you have
Same.
the volume. Mm-hmm. So if you miss the volume, you're in fifth gear, dropping down to sixth. I've done that a couple of times. Whoa, crazy.
Well,
good stuff.
You know, this is a great buy in my opinion. And if you're out looking for a small SUV, check it out, the Buick Envista.
Buick.
That's my review.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hey, if you.